Hello and welcome to the video by TrumpExcel. I'm Sumit Bansal, and in this video I will show you how to use the extract options in Power Query when you're working with columns that have a text data type. So here I have the sales data, and let's open this in Power Query. So I would go to data from table range, and here I have a couple of columns that are text data type. So I have the item, product ID, sales rep. Now, the extract options are in the transform group in the transform tab, and here I have the text column group, and here I have the extract options. If I click here, you can see all these options. Now these are very similar to the Excel text functions that are there in the worksheet. So there is a len function and left, right, and mid, and all these functions. And what this does is it will change the column based on what you want to extract. So here, let's say I have product ID, or let's say I have sales rep selected, and I want to know the number of characters in each person's name. Then I can simply come here and click on a length, which is the first option here. And when I do that, it'll give me the number of characters in each person's name. Now it'll modify your existing column. So if you want to keep your original column intact, it's a good idea to create a copy. You can easily duplicate the column by clicking here. Now let me delete this step so that I get my original data. The second option here is first characters. So in this case, if you want to keep certain number of characters from the beginning, then you can use this option. So for example, in this case, if I want to keep the text part, which is KL, and get rid of the numeric part, then I can keep the first two characters. And to do that, I would go to extract first characters, and I can keep the first two characters. So I'll specify the number, click OK. And as soon as I do this, you can see the numeric part is gone, and I only have the text part with only two characters from the beginning. Let me delete this step. Similarly, if you don't want from the beginning, you want something from the end, then you can use the third option, which is last character. So in this case, let's say instead of KL, I want to retain the numbers, then I can specify 3 here. And when I click OK, it removes the KL part and gives me only those numbers. So it keeps the 3 characters from the end and removes everything else. Let me delete this step again. The fourth option here is a range. And here you can specify how many characters you want after a specific character count. So for example, if I click on this, it'll ask me what's the starting number here. So let's say if I say the starting number here is 2, so start counting from 2 and give me 3 number of characters. So in this case, again, the result would be that I'm left with the numbers, but you can specify the starting position and then count the number of characters from there. Let me again delete this step. The fourth option here is text before delimiter. So if I come here and I click on this option, text before delimiter, it'll ask me the delimiter in this case. And let's say my delimiter here is a space. So let me enter a space here. And now I have these advanced option where it asks me from the start of the input. So from where do I want to count the delimiter, from the start or from the beginning? And in this case, I'm counting from the start of the input. Also, you can specify if you want to skip a certain number of delimiters. So for example, if you have multiple spaces and you want to skip the first 2 spaces and start from the third space onward, then you can do this. And now if I click OK, you can see it is giving me only the first part, and it has removed everything after the delimiter. So I get the first name very easily. We've seen we can split this into 2 columns, but this is also a fast way of doing it. Now let me remove this. Again, similar to this option where we were looking for a delimiter from the beginning and we only retained the first part, we can also look for text after delimiter. So here we retained the part before the delimiter, which was Laura dash space Smith. We retained Laura. Now if we want to retain the last name, then we can do this. So if I click on this option and my delimiter here is a space, and these options would remain the same, and I click OK, you can see I retain the second name, the last name of the sales rep. And the last option in this case is text between delimiters. So if you have multiple delimiters in this case, then you can specify. So for example, you can specify that my starting delimiter is a space and my ending delimiter is a comma. Then it will give you the text between those two delimiters. In this case, I do not have that kind of data, but in case you have, then you can specify two different delimiters if you want, and then you can get the data. And then there are these advanced options. So you can specify where you want to start the scanning from. It could be from the start of the input or the end of the input. The number of start delimiters to skip, which you can specify. If you want to skip, let's say 3 delimiters or 2 delimiters, then you can do that. And then again, scan for the end of the delimiter from the beginning or from the end, and again you can specify if you want to skip any delimiter, which is the end delimiter. So this is how you can use the extract options. These are quite useful when you're working with text data, because it easily helps you in modifying and changing this data and get you the relevant text from a column. It's always a good idea to create a column duplicate and then work on it so that you retain the original data with you. That's it in this video. I hope you found this useful. Thank you and have a nice day.